Good evening. Thank you for attending the 2021 virtual Galleon. My name is Joe Konechny. For the past 16 years, it's been my honor and privilege to serve as the athletic director and boys basketball coach for Columbus Catholic Schools. On behalf of the almost 600 students in our school system, thank you for being here tonight to support our efforts and to make sure the future of Columbus Catholic Schools remains strong. It is once again my honor to introduce to you the result of your efforts, the class of 2021. But before I do, there are some groups of people I'd like to thank. To the Columbus Catholic Schools staff, thank you for the adjustments you've made to make this school year such a success. Columbus Catholic Schools has been in person 5 days a week since the start of the school year, and that is due in large part to tremendous sacrifices our staff has made and a willingness to adjust to make sure the best education possible is provided. I'd like to thank the parents of Columbus Catholic Schools for entrusting to us their most prized possession, their children. Thank you for the sacrifices you make to send your children to Columbus Catholic Schools. And thank you for all you do to make sure the future remains bright. And I'd like to thank the alumni of Columbus Catholic Schools. Our school system is forever a part of you, and for it to remain strong, we need you to be a part of it. You left our school better than you found it, and the class I introduced to you tonight has done the same. Without further ado, here is the class of 2021. Kelsey Moore has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 3 years. She's a member of our Peru mission team, student council, and the Columbus Log. She's played basketball and volleyball and volunteered for our sand volleyball camp, Rotary Lights, and Maple Fall Fest. From the time Kelsey walked in the door, the bar was raised. A relentless worker in and out of the classroom, she's achieved at outstanding levels. She's a reader, but also an author. She's written 4 books and is class salutatorian. I joke with Kelsey that the number 34 is important to both of us. I wore a jersey that had number 34 on it, and 34 is her ACT score. In addition, she's caring, humble, kind, and has an infectious attitude that lights up a room. Kelsey Moore will be at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro next school year, studying library and information science. Thank you, Kelsey, for everything you've done for Columbus Catholic Schools. Kellen Delaney has been at Columbus Catholic Schools since 8th grade. He's a tremendous soccer player and has volunteered for Feed My Starving Children. When I think of Kellen, I think of a great friend, an enthusiastic teammate, and a good speaker, verbal beyond his years. He's a young man who values family and friends as much as anybody I know. I also remember a loud cherry bomb muffler that you can hear coming from 1.5 miles away. I'll miss a lot about Kellen, but most of all, I'll miss watching him play soccer. An all-conference caliber player and one of the best we've had walk the halls of Columbus Catholic High School. Next year, Kellen will be at Northumbria University in Newcastle, England, studying business. Kellen Delaney. Kevin Fisher has attended Columbus Catholic Schools for 15 years. He's been active in our musicals and in instructing our 5th grade band. He's an incredible actor. He was the lead in The Sound of Music. He's also a Taekwondo instructor and a black belt. When I think of Kevin, I think of a student with a high aptitude for technology and a work ethic to succeed at whatever he chooses to do. I also think of broken boards, many broken boards. Just ask Mr. Jadon. Kevin is the last of the Fisher children to attend Columbus Catholic Schools, and we'd like to personally thank Dan and Marla Fisher for entrusting us with their children. Next year, Kevin will be at Midstate Technical College studying audio production. Kevin Fisher. Austin Grubofski has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 6 years. He's participated in baseball, basketball, football, and wrestling. He volunteered for Feed My Starving Children. When I think of Austin, I think of football. A kid who's a beast on the field, but quiet and humble and polite off of it. He was a Channel 7 All-Star and a first-team All-Conference selection, but he'd be the last to tell you about it. He's way too humble. Austin left the Spencer Columbus football program in better shape than he found it, and he did the exact same thing with our school. Austin is the last of the Grubofski children to attend Columbus Catholic Schools. I'd like to thank Fred and Rachael for sending their children to us. I'd also like to mention Ron and Roberta Jadon, Austin's grandparents, who have put in over 4 decades of service between them, serving our school system. You deserve the best in your retirement. Next year, Austin will be attending Viterbo University, studying social studies. Austin Grubofski. Emmalee Jicinsky has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 13 years. She was on the March for Life, performed in school musicals, and is on the Peru mission team. She's a standout athlete in volleyball, basketball, and track. And she's volunteered at the Vocation Bible School and on the Tanzania mission trip. When I think of Emmalee, I think of a gifted athlete who could flat out jump out of the gym. But she's an even better student in person. With an infectious personality, she's kind to everyone. This is a young lady who would excel in the classroom in the morning, be an all-conference athlete in the afternoon, and then have the lead in the school musical that night. She's willing to try anything and excels at all of it. Next year, Emmalee Jicinsky will be at UW-Stevens Point studying English education, and she'll one day take over for Mrs. Volkman. Emmalee Jicinsky. Jadon Nienast has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 3 years. He's in National Honor Society, baseball, basketball, and soccer. He's volunteered with the Dribbling Dons, at basketball camps, and with our student council. He's a tremendous athlete, but he's a better leader. He went out of his way for 3 years to help younger students anytime they needed it. I'm going to miss the athletic success, the 30-point games, but I'll miss more of the sense of humor and watching him put his arm around younger teammates. Next year, Jayden will be at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. He's undecided on a major, but I am certain he will succeed in whatever he does. Jadon Nienast. Sydney Litwaitis has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 15 years. She's been involved in National Honor Society, the Peru mission team, and serves as student ambassador. She's played volleyball and volunteers at St. Joseph's Hospital. When I think of Sydney, I think of the word compassionate. She genuinely cares about everyone and is willing to stand up for everyone and what she believes in. As part of our youth apprenticeship program, she's been a full-time worker and a full-time student for much of her time here and has succeeded at both. I will also remember the amazing musical talent, her voice. Sydney is the last of the Litwaitis family. We'd like to thank Jerry and Crystal for sending their children here and for making Columbus a better place. Next year, Sydney will be at Mid-State Technical College, beginning a career as a veterinarian technician. Sydney Litwaitis. Alyssa Rueth has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 2 years. She's in National Honor Society, FFA, 4-H, and has participated in basketball, softball, and volleyball. She volunteers for Feed My Starving Children, the Clark County Humane Society, Little Bumpers Volleyball Camp, the Lincoln Benefit, and the Now Lunch Program. When I think of Alyssa, I think of a worker, in school and out. She's incredibly empathetic and understanding of other people, and she demands her best in everything she does. She was a great addition to our Columbus family 2 years ago, and I'd like to thank her for everything she's done to maximize her time here. Next year, Alyssa will be attending Concordia University and studying rehabilitation science. Alyssa Rueth. Cole Heinzen has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 13 years. He's in National Honor Society and writes for the Columbus Log and the Side Inside. He's in the band and was part of the Rotary Youth Leadership Conference. He's a tremendous soccer player and has volunteered at our concession stand and our band breakfast. When I think of Cole, I think of somebody with a unique perspective who's quietly thoughtful and intelligent. And most of all, I think of his faith. He loves and lives his faith. He also refuses to wear a winter coat if it's 50 to 60 degrees below zero, and I'm sure that won't change. In the 70-year history of our school, this was the 54th year we had a Heinzen in the building. Aunts, uncles, cousins, Kellen and Cole. I'd like to thank Mike and Jackie and their family for everything they've done for us, and I'd like to ask the Heinzen family to give us 54 more years of a Heinzen in the building. Next year, Cole will be at UW-Eau Claire studying criminal justice. Cole Heinzen. Will Schlafke has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 13 years. He's been a member of our baseball, basketball, and football teams. He's volunteered at Dribbling Dons, basketball camps, and Feed My Starving Children. He has a tremendous sense of humor, sometimes egging his classmates on to start a good debate. When I think of Will, I think of a young man who loves the outdoors and is very gifted at woodworking and tech ed, gifted in all classes he takes. He's a great teammate and friend, somebody who enjoys life and is willing to speak his mind and defend his opinion. Next year, Will Schlafly will be at UW-Stevens Point in Marshfield, beginning a career in mechanical engineering. Will Schlafly. Helen Voss has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 15 years. She's a member of our Mission Club, National Honor Society, the Peru Mission Team, and Student Council. She's the #1 singles player on our girls' tennis team and volunteers at Marshfield Medical Center, Rotary Winter Wonderland, and Maple Fall Fest. Helen is the valedictorian of a very gifted group. She especially loves science. When I think of Helen, I think of somebody who squeezed every ounce out of her academic ability, worked extremely hard her entire time here. In addition, she's polite, conscientious, and giving to others. Helen is the last of the Voss children to attend Columbus Catholic Schools. We'd like to thank Michael and Mary for sending their children to us and thank them for everything they did to make Columbus Catholic Schools such a special place. Next year, Helen will be at St. Norbert College studying biochemistry with hopes of one day being a doctor. Helen Voss. Max McGivern has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 15 years. He's a member of the football and track teams, and he participates in ice racing. He volunteers at the Marshfield Parish Pool, and he mows our football field anytime we need it. When I think of Max, I think of service. I think of work. I think of somebody who's technically savvy. I think of cars and all the different types of vehicles he showed up to school in. When you walk down the tech ed hallway and you hear an engine or smell fumes from an engine, most of the time it's Max working on a project. Most of all, when I think of Max, I think of faith, somebody who valued his Catholic education and lived his faith daily. Next year, Max McGivern will be at UW-Stevens Point, Marshfield campus, studying business. Max McGivern. Nora Bauer has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 7 years. She's a member of the Marshfield Columbus Leadership Alliance and has volunteered at Alpine Holiday and at numerous Columbus fundraisers. She's kind-hearted and sensitive to the needs of others. She's adventure-seeking with a genuine desire to see the world. I have no doubt she'll go on these adventures, but I know she'll return home often because she's incredibly loyal and dedicated to her family. Next year, she'll be starting an adventure at Arizona State University, where she'll be studying human nutrition. Nora Bauer. Adam Leese has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 2 years. He played basketball. He volunteered at Alpine Holiday and Columbus fundraisers. Adam is enthusiastic to help. He's a great friend, and he quietly does the right thing in every situation. He's respectful to a fault. He has a genuine desire for those around him to be happy. He's a loyal friend and family member. Adam came here 2 years ago and was instantly part of the Columbus family. Next year, Adam will be at UW La Crosse studying exercise and sports science. He'd like to be a physical education teacher. He'll be a great one. Adam Leese. Wyatt Drexler has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 15 years. He's played baseball, basketball, and soccer. He's volunteered at basketball camps, dribbling dons. He cantors at Mass for Sacred Heart and for our school masses. He's a great writer. He's thoughtful, convicted, and a role model for our younger students. He's as respectful as they come. When I think of Wyatt, I think of somebody who's very connected to his faith and incorporates it in every aspect of his life. Next year, Wyatt Drexler will be at UW-Madison studying finance. Wyatt Drexler. Noah Eckelberg has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 7 years. He's a National Honor Society and a member of our track team. He plays wheelchair basketball for the Mad City Badgers. He brought his team to play against us 2 years ago. They barely won, 86-4. Noah volunteers for the Children's Miracle Network and the Ronald McDonald House. When I think of Noah, I think of a dry sense of humor, somebody who overcomes every obstacle placed in their path with no excuses. Most of all, I think of a state champion and a young man who changed our school. Next year, Noah will be on scholarship at Southwestern Minnesota State University, where he'll major in physical education and play for the wheelchair basketball team. Noah Eckelberg. Eden Jacobson has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 15 years. He's played football, basketball, baseball, and track, and he's excelled at each. He's volunteered for basketball tournaments and at the Hope Lodge with our basketball team. Quite simply, Eden is one of the greatest athletes in the history of Columbus Catholic High School. A Channel 7 All-Star in football, Conference Player of the Year in basketball, and an all-conference athlete in baseball and track. Yet he's humble and kind and a leader, the first person to put his arm around somebody who needs it. He likes nothing more than laughing with his friends and teammates, and he's an incredible mentor to the young people at our school and in our athletic programs. Thank you, Eden, for your efforts. Next year, Eden Jacobson will be at UW La Crosse studying business. Eden Jacobson. Sydney Moritz has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 13 years. She's a member of National Honor Society and has played soccer, basketball, and softball. She volunteers at the Marshfield Community Thanksgiving Dinner, Rotary Winter Lights, and at Vacation Bible School. When I think of Sydney, I think of somebody who volunteers for everything. She's somebody who can see humor in anything and make any situation more fun. She's willing to be behind the scenes while other people get the credit. She's helped in our school musicals. I'll miss her positive outlook and her constant willingness to help. She's also extremely loyal and dedicated to her friends and family. Next year, Sydney Moritz will be at UW Stevens Point studying special education. Sydney Moritz. Kyle Johnson has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 4 years. He's played baseball and run cross country and has volunteered multiple places through our Columbus Stewardship Program. Kyle is smart, gifted intellectually, and a really good writer. He's a really gifted actor in our school plays and has a great sense of humor. He's incredibly articulate and can carry on a conversation with anybody for hours. What I'll remember about Kyle is that he drove from Colby every day because it meant so much to him to have a Columbus education. Next year, Kyle will be at UWSP here in Marshfield studying history. Kyle Johnson. Catherine Kitzhaber has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 11 years. She went on the March for Life, serves on the Marshfield Columbus Leadership Alliance, helps with school musicals, is in the National Honor Society, and serves as a student ambassador and member of our student council. She played tennis and has volunteered for Feed My Starving Children, the Salvation Army, CCD, and the Africa Mission Team. Catherine is funny and witty, a patient worker dedicated to her faith and family. She has a volunteer spirit. She never complains, just helps. She fills in the gaps wherever needed at our school, selflessly and to the fullest of her ability. Next year, Catherine will attend Franciscan University of Steubenville, where she will study elementary education. Catherine Kitzhaber. Tyler Linsmeyer has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 7 years. He's played basketball and soccer and has volunteered at Alpine Holiday and Columbus fundraisers. He's incredibly bright. School comes easy to him. He provides good insight, whatever the issue. Tyler quietly and respectfully just does his job. He's incredibly dedicated to his family, always setting a good example for his younger siblings and for everyone around him. When I think of Tyler, I think of a person of faith. He lives his daily. Next year, Tyler Linsmeyer will be at UW-Madison. He's undecided on a major. Tyler Linsmeyer. Carlos Hackle has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 5 years. He's on National Honor Society and serves on our student council. He's been in a musical and has played baseball, basketball, and run track. Carlos has volunteered at Dribbling Dons, Feed My Starving Children, OLP After School Care, and the Livingstone Retreat Team. He's a cross-bearer and choir member at St. John the Baptist Church in Edgar, and he's volunteered for Rotary Winter Wonderland. When I think of Carlos, I think of a person of faith who's kind and respectful. He has a gift working with young students, and I'll never forget him doing so for 2 hours every day at OLP After School Care, positively influencing our young students. I'll also never forget a man that was so determined to have a Catholic education that he drove 40 minutes every day from Edgar, allowing him to do so. Carlos is the last of the Hackle children to attend Columbus Catholic schools. We'd like to thank John and Nanette Hackle for gifting us their children and for everything they did to make Columbus Catholic schools great. Next year, Carlos Hackle will be at UW Stout studying computer networking and cybersecurity. Carlos Hackle. Megan Kibble has been at Columbus Catholic schools for 4 years, but really she's been here since the beginning. She writes for the Columbus Log and is a key member of our basketball and volleyball teams. She volunteers for the sand volleyball camp, dribbling dons, and our basketball camp. When I think of Megan, I think of a hard worker, a gifted athlete, somebody who's focused and determined in all she does. I think of a young lady that truly appreciates Columbus Catholic schools and was proud to wear our jersey. And I think of a friend who was the first to step up when a teammate needed it. Next year, Megan Kibble will be at UW Stevens Point studying special education. Megan Kibble. Orion Smith has been at Columbus Catholic schools for 5 years. He's been in school musicals, is a member of student council, has written for the Columbus Log, and is in dance club. He's run cross country and track, and has volunteered for Meals on Wheels, the Columbus Snack Shack, and Three Oaks Retirement Home. Orion Smith is a supportive friend. He's compassionate. I think of a very gifted actor and somebody focused on family. He has a great sense of humor, and his down-to-earth insight allows him to deal with any situation. Most of all, I remember a young man who was bold and willing to jump into new experiences, confident and comfortable in his own skin. Next year, Orion Smith will be at the University of Oregon studying marine biology. Orion Smith. Aiden Hauke has been at Columbus Catholic schools for 4 years. He's served on our homecoming committee and has played basketball and baseball. He's volunteered at Alpine Holiday and multiple Columbus fundraisers. When I think of Aiden Hauke, I think of the word generous, somebody who loves fun and who people love to be around. I think of somebody who balances work and school, who spends a lot of time in the gym with Coach Krasselt, lifting the spirits of everybody around him with humor and laughter. He brings a spark to any conversation and makes the day brighter for anybody he comes in contact with. Next year, Aiden Hauke will be at Chippewa Valley Technical College studying marketing. Aiden Hauke. TJ Schrader has been at Columbus Catholic schools for 1.5 years. He's incredibly talented in automotive and tech ed, and he's absolutely willing to speak his mind on any topic or situation. I would not debate him because I will lose. TJ is incredibly funny and uses humor to get through a lot of situations. He came to Columbus 1.5 years ago, and I believe he found his place, and we are glad that we found him. Next year, TJ will enter the workforce working for Sternweiss Concrete. TJ Schrader. Gage Stratman has been at Columbus Catholic schools for 15 years. He's in our mission club, National Honor Society, and serves as a student ambassador and student council member. Gage has excelled in football, basketball, and golf. He's volunteered for Dribbling Dons, the Hope Lodge Cancer Center, Feed My Starving Children, Cattails Cancer Cottage, our band, and in all things athletics. Gage is a leader in word and example. He's a captain, a coach on the floor, incredibly intelligent and hardworking. He is somebody that younger teammates looked up to and could follow a positive example. Mrs. Volkman would describe Gage as perspicacious. If he wants to know what that means, he can check page 369 of his Word Power book. He loved word power. Gage, you were a joy to be around. Thank you for taking ownership and making sure everybody left Columbus better than they found it. Next year, Gage will be at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He is undecided on a major. Gage Stratman. Jayden Pankratz has been at Columbus Catholic schools for 15 years. She was on the March for Life, is a member of the Marshfield Columbus Leadership Alliance. She's performed in school musicals, is a student ambassador, a student council member, and she's written for the Columbus Log and the Side Inside. Jayden has played volleyball, and she's volunteered for CCD, the volunteer program at the hospital, Relay for Life, and Vocation Bible School. When I think of Jayden, I think of a young lady who volunteers for everything. She makes sure the experience is good for everyone. She is truly altruistic. If something needs to get done, Jayden will take care of it, and she'll do it well. She has a dream of working in criminal justice, and next year she'll be at UW Eau Claire studying criminal justice. Jayden Pankratz. Michael McQuillen has been at Columbus Catholic Schools for 14 years. He's been on the March for Life. He's in National Honor Society and writes for the Columbus Log. He's been a member of the golf team and regularly serves at Mass. When I think of Michael, I think of a hard worker, incredibly dedicated to his faith. He's level-headed, stays calm in every situation. He's always willing to help. He's kind of Mr. Iwanski's go-to guy when he needs a server for school Mass. I remember him donating his hair for cancer patients, and I know he plans to do it again. He's also got a very gifted mechanical mind and could build you anything in AutoCAD class. Michael is the last of the McQuillens to attend Columbus. Thank you to Ed and Lonnie for sending us their children. Next year, Michael McQuillen will be at UW Stout studying game design and development. Michael McQuillen. Erin Meese has attended Columbus Catholic Schools for 14 years. She's been in basketball, softball, and volleyball. She's volunteered for our youth volleyball camp, Dribbling Dons, and youth basketball camp. Erin is extremely driven, an incredibly hard worker athletically and academically, a three-sport athlete who excels in the classroom. She's also incredibly humble, polite, and genuinely cares not only about the students, but also the staff. She has a maturity about her I will not forget, and a willingness to work through challenges and always come out stronger. Erin is the last of the Meese family, and I hope Jen Meese knows how much I appreciate her. I'm thinking of basketball rides, the scores table, and a lot of things she did to make our school function. Thank you for sending us Ethan and Erin. We are forever grateful. Next year, Erin will be at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, studying psychology. Erin Meese. Ashley Herman has attended Columbus Catholic Schools for 15 years. She was on the Peru mission team and serves as a student ambassador. She's a gifted volleyball player and has volunteered for Feed My Starving Children, tutoring young students, and the Vacation Bible School. When I think of Ashley, I think of a hard worker, incredibly motivated, selfless, and honest. She's an excellent mentor for younger students and is incredibly gifted academically, regularly taking college courses and high school courses at the same time. What I'll remember most about Ashley is that she loved others and that she was loved. In January, Ashley was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And boy, did cancer pick the wrong opponent. Ashley and her family and her team have rallied, and we know she'll win. Never have I been so certain of why I send my children to a Catholic school. Hundreds of prayers to St. Peregrine have been said, and she has set an example for all of us on how to handle adversity in a scary situation. I hope that I could be half as tough as Ashley Herman when I'm faced with adversity. Ashley Herman is the last of the Herman children to attend Columbus Catholic Schools. I'd like to thank Rod and Rebecca for sending them to us and for the example they set and for the service they provided our school anytime we needed it. Herman family, you are loved. We will continue to pray, and we are certain that this will turn out okay. Next year, Ashley Herman will be at Mid-State Technical College, followed by UWSP, studying business and human resources. Ashley Herman. The class of 2021 will be the 70th graduating class from Columbus High School. 70 years of sending people out into the world to make it better. The truth is, I wish we were at Hotel Marshfield with 31 seniors standing next to me so you could walk up to them and say thank you because they deserve it. And I wish there were 400 of you sitting in front of me so we could walk up to you and say thank you because you absolutely deserve it. For 17 years, I've tried to get people to see what I see, to send their children to Columbus. What I've discovered is that my greatest argument is the 31 people that I just talked about. Talk to them, interact with them, watch how they live their lives, see what they go on to do. Nobody could ever argue. The truth is that most schools in America provide lessons and opportunities and experiences that lead their students to great success, that lead students to their highest moments. But what Columbus provides is what's most important. It's the thing that gets people through their lowest moments. He's on a cross in the lobby and in every classroom. And now more than ever, our country needs him. Our greatest mission will be to lead people to Jesus Christ. And we can start by filling this school. Enrollment continues to rise. I thank you for that and ask for your continued assistance. To the class of 2021, thank you. You experienced a lot, but you made it through. You persevered. And you conducted yourselves in a way that made more people want to be part of the school system. You led them to Columbus, which will lead them to Jesus. Remember, you have a place for the rest of your life where people will do anything for you, where you can walk in at any time and ask for anything, no questions asked. Remember the lessons you learned, and remember to pray. Most of all, know that we love you, we'll continue to pray for you, and we can't wait to see what you become. Thank you for attending the virtual Galleon tonight, and thank you for everything you do for Columbus Catholic Schools.